Balkans best.
Hello beautiful people, hello beautiful patrons, welcome to the video with tips for hiking peaks of the Balkans on a low budget and wild camping. My name is Lucy and behind me is my latest painting from Madeira for my friend. I am an artist and for that reason I am wild camping and chasing sunsets and sunrise so then I can paint them. This guide is made for the hiking on Clockwise and as I said for wild camping. I split the video on the chapters and I put in each chapter things that I think that might help you on your hike no matter which direction you do, so feel free to choose the chapter which suits you. And at the end you will find the trail description with the video, so with some kind of live going through all the trail. And now just let's crack on. Balkans are a beautiful and wild mountain region in Southeast Europe, shared by several countries. This area is famous for its dramatic landscapes, deep forests, traditional villages, and rich history. Despite past conflicts, the region is now peaceful and welcoming, full of kind people and old cultures. The Peaks of the Balkans Trail is a relatively new long-distance hiking route created around 2011-2013 as a peace, building and tourism project after difficult years in the Balkans history. The trail was built with the help of local communities and international organizations like German Development Cooperation to connect the three countries peacefully and bring sustainable tourism to the remote mountain villages. The route mostly follows Old Shepherd's Path and trade routes crossing borders. The Peaks of the Balkans is a circular long-distance hiking trail covering around 190 or 200 kilometers depending on which route variants you take. Most hikers complete the trail in 8 to 12 days, but you can make it shorter or longer depending on your pace, fitness and how many rest days or side trips you take. Classic loops takes 10 stages through the main villages Tef, Valbona, Cherem, Dobrdol, Milševic, Rugova Valley, Plav and Busanje. In the shorter options, some hikers skip parts using a car transfer. Longer option add some side hikes to Mount Jezersa or Geržavica or Valušnica, which I did to Grebaje Valley. You can start and finish anywhere along the loop, but popular starting points are Tef, Plav or Peja. The Peaks of the Balkans Trail crosses the border between Albania, Kosovo and Montenegro. Hikers are required to have a cross-border permit. I used company called Bulo, which does this for you for certain fee. You need to know exactly days where you will be crossing, and application takes usually 2 weeks. All necessary information you will find on their official website. In Prokletije National Park, you need to pay €3 entrance each day you enter the park. The Peaks of the Balkan Trail starts and finishes in the small mountain villages, but the closest big towns and cities are Podgorica in Montenegro, where you can take a bus to Plav or Gusinje, then Tirana in Albania, with connections to Tef or Valbona, or in Pristina at the Kosovo. In remote areas, you might need to arrange the taxi or private transfers, especially through the trailheads. I used the transport of Mensun Mirajem to Grebaje on my detour trip to Valušnica. So in my case, because I'm living close to Gatwick, I had plenty of flights from Gatwick Airport. I flew from London Gatwick to Podgorica, where I booked the bus from Podgorica to Plav. It took about 3.5 hours. You can do this online via the website Bus Tickets for me, I think it calls. I'll just put it down. Once I arrived to Plav, I went to the first campsite, which was the lake campsite. Now, things that I think that you should know before everything is two important things is that you need to take a cash before you come to all those little villages. Although at the Plav there is a cash point, it's easier if you arrive to Podgorica straight away, withdraw the money, because you're gonna need to pay for the taxi. There is a shuttle bus from Podgorica airport to town, but I didn't really figure out through internet, so I just booked the taxi straight away, and it took me to the bus station where I planned to go and found the gas. Now, buying a screw gas is a little bit problem at the Balkans. Most of the people who start in the theft, they have a problem to buy the gas because there is only the puncture one in a shop. So I did a little research and I found that in the big shopping center for the homemade, like a gardening stuff, or called Oko, they selling a camping gas. Roaming was unfortunately charging me too much, so I end up without connection and I had to run to the first shop to get a SIM card, but I will come to this in another chapter. So I had to take the taxi to Oko, where they're selling for €8 the large canister, which I bought. The taxi driver waited for me outside and took me back to the bus station from where I was having a bus to Plow. Peaks of the Balkan trails offer great opportunities for wild camping, but it's crucial to be responsible and respect the environment and be aware of local regulation and restrictions. As long as you respect the nature, leave no trace behind, pack all your trash and minimize your impact on environment. The trail features a mix of guest houses from family-run to more established, offering a combination of lodging and the meals. During the hike, I didn't stay at any guest houses because I really wanted to camp. So I wanted to use the opportunity of good weather. However, I planned to basically book accommodation on my last day when I finished the plow before the journey. And the second one was at the Podgorica airport because of the transport. So the place where I was staying in the plow called Sarah Apartments. If I knew, I will go camping there because they have a beautiful view on the lake rather than the one where I was staying with those caravans. So you can camp there or you can rent a room or apartment, but there was some kind of issue at the booking, so the lady gave me whole house. And mainly there was a washing machine so I could wash all my things for journey home. Then basically in the next day I booked again the bus from Plow to Podgorica, where I arrived around 4 o'clock, and I took a taxi to airport, and there I booked three hrsta apartmani. It was just three like a little bungalows in a garden, but exactly what people need to stay overnight instead of airport. It was beautiful, and the host was so kind and warm. They get me a lift for free to airport. I had a free coffee. There are on the trails little huts and sheds where you can basically shelter yourself in the case of bad weather. Balkans are home to brown bears, wolves, lynx, wild boars, and foxes, and of course, venomous vipers. You will encounter sheep, cows with calves, but they are very friendly. You can also meet on a trail lots of trail dogs, which are wild. Some of them are shepherd dogs, so please don't take them because they're looking after the sheep. You don't have to be scared of trail dogs. They are very friendly and they seems to be also very polite and educated. So they leave your tent alone. They won't beg you for the food as long as you don't give them. They just need a little company and they are so happy to see you. Even though bear encounters are rare in the Balkans, it's smart to follow basic bear safety rules, especially when camping in remote areas. You won't meet a bear if you camp in villages, but in a tree line it's better be safe. The bear triangle rule is simple. Imagine a triangle shape between your tent, cooking area, and food storage. A tree with a strong branch about 5-6 meters above the ground and 1-3 meters from the trunk. You need to put in your bear bag all what has a stand, from toothbrush, pot for cooking, sunscreen, rubbish, and of course food. I have here my bear bag, rope, one carabin, 10 pack. I put this carabin, I put a rock, clip it to like so. Now tie one end of the rope to your rock bag, put the rock in and throw it over the high branch. Pull the rope down and clip tie your food back to rope where was the rock bag. Pull other end of the rope through the carabin. Now pull the bag high as possible, and on the rope you're gonna make a hitch claw knot over the tackle or pack. Let it go, and that's it. Now With the berthing, when I was camping in a high altitude, I just leave the bag outside of my tent and cooking only water in my tent when it was raining at the Proslopit. I also do apologize for the wrong pronunciation of the villages and the valleys. And then when I was camping at in the tree line, I'll just hang the bag on the tree. Insects. Well, I read that I should be aware of ticks, but I didn't see any. Even those little puppies, they didn't have any ticks, they didn't have any fleas, they've been completely fine, just a little bit, dusty. There was lots of flies, plenty of flies, but they didn't bother me. They just been annoyingly flying around the face, and usually in the evening. There was a plenty of butterflies, fireflies, and only one evening on the Bora, it was a kind of invasion of mosquitoes for 1 hour, so I've been trapped in my tent. I had to run away from the mosquitoes. They are like midges right now. Mostly in Kosovo, there are plenty of wells and springs right by 4x4 track or paths, and guest houses usually have a tap water. But in some sections of Albania and Montenegro, I struggled with streams which been dry out, and even dry out lake. I don't have any water and I'm exhausted. There are two main towns with shops on a trail, Plav and Tev. I heard there are small market at Valbone, but I took a lift on the road, so I can't say. Most guest houses serve food like a bread, rakia, cheese, eggs, cucumber, and a coffee. They also sell a beer, juice cans, cola, and some will sell you bread, eggs, and vegetables to pack for your hike. My next big resupply was in a Tev, where I also stopped at a cash point and at a restaurant. Definitely cash, only cash. And if you're wondering how much to take, I think it depends on everyone's needs. For example, me, because I know that I'm not gonna stay at the guest houses, I kept their backup for the guest house in case of bad weather. But mostly I withdraw not much because I don't have much money for the breakfasts and drinks. And then basically my next resupply was at the TEF. So you can use euro in all three countries. But in Albania, they will give you back the lekes. Leftover lekes you can't really pay in Montenegro or Kosovo, so I end up with extra lekes that I withdraw at the TEF, and I basically couldn't change them. I went to Plav Bank and they didn't want to change them. They sent me to some kind of shops, Bako, but they've been doing only dollars, and at the end I swapped them with the fellow hikers who I met at the Plav apartment because they've been heading towards Albania. So the only cash point is at the Plav at the TEF, and I had a problem that my card was not supported by the cash point, so maybe check this with your bank if you can pay in different countries. And then in Gusinje is a cash point and also shop if you need, but you will have to take the little detour there because it's roughly 10k from Gusinje, which is on your trail. You can pay by card in only places which are groceries, at the TEF, and then at the Plav, and elsewhere taxi drivers, accommodation, sheds, huts, only euros. Also, I recommend you to bring a small note. I bought a paper map as a backup because I like seeing the whole route clearly. But my main tool was the hiker app, although the GPX file in the app were wrong in many places. I followed the paths that were overgrown or unused. So now I made a new GPX strat. If you want it, feel free to message me and I'll happily share it with you. Trail marking are mostly clear. Follow wide red rectangles or wide red dots. Sometimes you'll see signs with directions. I've to Podgorica with my Sky roaming, but my SIM card, and unfortunately they charged me 50 pounds for just 1 minute of login on the data where I was trying to Google where is Oko. So I end up at Podgorica without any phone connection. Luckily, around the bus station there is like a little market, and there is a plenty of phone shop with the SIM cards. You can also get one for free from the airport, but you have to top it up, and for this you need the internet. So the girl at the phone shop, she did everything for me, despite she spoke very broke English. She ordered even taxi for me, so bless her. She put my SIM card, she everything did set up on the phone, and I paid 18 euro for 500 gigabytes for 15 days. And this had perfect coverage and roaming in Kosovo, Montenegro, and as well as Albania. I lost the reception mostly at the passes and in valleys, so I recommend you to maybe have the Garmin in reach to communicate with your family and send a message that you are all right. So in the Montenegro, people speak Montenegrin, Serbian in Kosovo, Albanian and Serbian, and Albania in Albanian. I did try to learn a few basic phrases, but it just didn't get to my head. The Montenegrin did a little bit stick because it's similar. The base to Russian and Polish and Czech is a Slovenian language, I think. So few phrases I remember because it's nice to be polite, to know at least thank you and hello and please to say in their language. But as I said, it didn't get to my head. Luckily, people speak English. Some of them it's very basic, some of them is really fluent. So it's enough to ask for the coffee, food, or direction. They'll understand you and they're very helpful too. Now, I'm living in the UK, so for me the summer is 15 degrees, and when it's a heat wave, it's like to be in the greenhouse. So I'm used to on a low temperature, but I born in a country where it can be really hot. And when I arrived to Podgorica and it was 39 degrees, I was terrified and amazed at the same time. So yes, it is very hot and beautiful sauce is so hot. It's brutal. It is 40 degrees. It's very hot. The sweat is stinging my eyes. The weather can be absolutely amazing. The only thing would build up during afternoon being thunderstorm, a massive thunderstorm, which I'm heading towards. And other than that, I had almost everyday blue skies and the temperatures around 40 degrees. Now, if you're camping in the high passes and a high altitude, don't expect the same temperature is going to be in the night. But it's really cold, it's 5 degrees, so I'm waiting until the sun comes out. And the temperature drops on 5 degrees and it was really chilly until the sun comes out, until the sun come up around 5:30, 6, and still was quite chilly, so I was wearing long trousers and my jumper. I was really grateful for my down jacket. I will come to this. Everybody has a different needs. I've been hearing and I am hearing for 4 years that, oh, that's a big backpack. But to be fair, I met people with much bigger backpacks and much more stuff on the backpack than I have. They had a backpack like I used to have. And when I was starting with the backpacking, I don't think that my backpack is big. It's 50 kilo and I packed there for basically only wild camping. So I things that I have to completely rely on depend in the hot weather and in the cold weather. In the rain, I had their foods and my electronics. Now I created this little sheet and a chat GPT didn't get it right, so he put few socks extra on my list. And obviously, there is missing few little bits and bobs like my fairy lights, or the hygiene box which contains plasters, complete plasters, and some medication. But pretty much this is what I packed. Tent, sleeping bag, sleeping mat, backpack, long trousers for hiking, rain jacket, solar panel, walking sticks, sunglasses, cup, camera with tripod, 360 with tripod, drone, base layers for sleeping, Garmin in reach, water bottle, sunscreen, first aid kit, food and snacks, that's my pants, perhaps my phone, repelent, head torch, barbell, water filter, scarf, collapsible water bottle, cooking system with pots, boots, down jacket, t-shirts, tank top, shorts, rain trousers, socks, and one spare sock for one-legged Lucy. So the trail is pretty much still new one, so it's not that popular, and I met mostly Germans, Netherlands, I met some Czech people. I didn't meet any Slovakian, I met people from Australia. A section on at the Montenegro and Albania are a little bit more busy, especially Valbone Pass, Peje Pass, Prokletje, and around Zlakolata, because people usually go there, camp, and then climb the mountain. People usually start hiking from Tef anti-clockwise. I decided to hike clockwise from several reasons. First of all, I started to plow because it matches with my transport, and I choose to hike clockwise because I like to avoid the crowds. You can meet some groups, and because I'm filming, I always have to stop and wait until people pass. So like this, I met everyone once in the morning or lunchtime, and then I was basically alone on a trail. A Kosovo section is very quiet because people skipping this part due to the road walk. I wouldn't say that is one really long section of road walk, rather than one road walk, which is 6k, and then it's lots of little road walk in between villages and lots of 4x4 tracks. But I think the Kosovo is really worth of seeing because the views are really incredible, and I really did enjoy that part. Also, I hike clockwise because I like to gain information from the hikers which are coming from the opposite direction, like is a water source or camping spots, etc. Next reason why I choose to hike clockwise was some of the descent and ascent. I knew about the steep slope to Kwafa Peje before Busanje, so I preferred to climb this up rather than down. On the other side, the descent from Maja Borid was absolutely the most terrifying part on the peaks of Balkans. There was one more bad step after going down from Valbone, but I will come to this to another section called Description of Trail. So as I mentioned, I started at the plow hiking clockwise. The first hour is just walking through town until you reach the 4x4 track, which I stay on for quite a while. It's a gradual uphill walk until you reach Hritsko Lake, where there is a really nice camping spot. From the lake, a beautiful forest path takes you to the first refreshment stop called Gastro Point. You can camp there and finish your day or continue to Babinopolje, which has a plenty of accommodation. From Gastro Point, it's a 4x4 track again until you start ascending to Zavoje Pass. I stayed at last water source under the pass, but there is some beautiful flat spots right on the top, perfect for pitching your tent. From the pass, you walk a stunning ridge line and then start a pleasant ascent to Jelenka Pass, where you also found great places to camp. Now you're entering in Kosovo. The descent is longer than it looks. It goes quickly after you pass a lake dry. After the second lake, Lake Winat, there is a steep descent through a dry riverbed filled with loose rocks. It's slow going. Eventually you hit the road, and these roadwalks take you to Gjuvavik. There are a few places to stay there, but I decided to climb up to Duarge. It's a steep forest path, dusty in some places, and I literally had to hold on trees. There is a place at the top called Koko Villa and Camping Zone Duarge. Check their place where you want to camp there. So you are now in Kosovo, and honestly many people skip this part because of the roadwalk. Between Pejare and Rugova there is a 6 km stretch on the road, but to be fair, there is a lot of roadwalk and 4x4 tracks between villages through this section. But the views are totally worth of it, and I was alone out there, which was what I needed. This was unpleasant steep descent through very rugged forestry path. The 6 km part I hitchhiked to Rugova. Took three tries, but I managed to stop car. I'm at the Rugova camp, where you can stay overnight, or like me, climb to the first little ridge to camp. This section between Rugova and the ridge is very steep, and usually people avoid this, taking the side path if they don't want to stay at the Rugova place. From my camping spot up to the pass, I followed the GPX track, but it led me through an overgrown path, while on the side there was a rough 4x4 forestry track. Eventually, when you get up there, you follow a beautiful meadow to a small lake, then cross the next pass and descend down to Milshevets. You know, you have a saddle and then you have a saddle. A saddle means that you're going up for a long time and you think you are up and you are not up. Then you go a little down and you go up and you go down. That's a saddle. And this was saddle. But be ready, this descent was so tortuous and steep. Once at Milshevets, where there are some guest houses, you follow 4x4 track to Roshkodol, and from there a nice gradual ascent to Roshkodol Pass. Up to the pass, there are a few paths where I gone astray a bit, but eventually I made it. It's a beautiful place to camp also. Camping here must be beautiful because it's wind shade and it's flat. From the pass, narrow paths with ups and downs take you to another pass where you join a 4x4 track again. After climbing a little hill, you found yourself under the Free Peak border junction, where you can either go around and follow the trail down to Dobedol or turn a left and go up the peak. I plan to follow the ridge line from there to Gerjavica, but at the end I stay camping at a free border peak. The descent down, I really recommend you to going down the same way you came up. This was a quite stressful descent behind me. I went down the shorter route and it was very steep, dangerous and with loose rock. The descent from the pass to Dobedol also took a while. Again, it was steep and slow. Now you are in Albania. The section between Dobedol to Cherem is a nice resting stretch, mostly following a contour line. I met a bear here, so be aware and wear at least a barbell in the early morning. Descend straight down to Cherem. The turn up to the valley is a little hidden, so be careful. The ascent from Cherem was beautiful and easy to follow with plenty of streams. At the first path, here you cross back into Montenegro for a couple of hours. The ascent to Prospolit Pass has a few bad steps with a bit of scrambling, but honestly I prefer a scramble over a dusty straight path. On the pass, there aren't many flat spots to pitch your tent, but you will find something. Going down to Valbona looked at first like an easy walk, and you are back again in Albania. Going down to Valbona looked at first like an easy walk until the last bit, which was super steep, and I fell 3 times. Once in Valbona, there are several guest houses and restaurants where you can stop for food and rest. Then it's about a 4K roads walk to the start of the trail of Valbona Pass. The ascent has several guest houses and a refreshment. It was actually very nice climb, except for the first part over the rocky dry riverbed. Just before the pass, there is a stretch with ropes on a narrow slippery part, so also the first steps of the descent are literally so narrow and steep I really struggled to get down. After that you walk a nice forest path until you reach the first guest house, and 5 minutes from it is a beautiful stream. I took a water here from my campsite on a meadow about 3 kilometers from the guest house. The descent from the meadow is again steep forest path. To get to the top you'll need to leave the trail a bit. I stopped there for shopping for food, then rejoin the trail heading up to Peje Pass. It's a gradual climb on a 4x4 track until you reach a steep zigzag path on a loose rock. It's a slow going, but honestly better going up than down this section. Peje Pass feels like a corridor into another valley. You go down and then up again. You'll pass some old bunkers. The descent looks easy from here, don't fool yourself. You hit a dry riverbed where is the only water source until Vusanje. Then comes another tortuous section through forest down to Lake Ropojan, where I wanted to camp, but the lake was completely dry out. The next day I took a detour to Grebaje. I walked to Vusanje, stopped at the canyon and booked a transport to Grebaje. I really recommend you to do this if you have a spare day. It's only 3 to 4 kilometer hike, but it took me nearly 5 hours as I was carrying water uphill. There is a beautiful spot in the ridge between the peaks, and the views are absolutely world class on whole Prokletye Park. Once I got back on a trail from Vusanje, it was a steep, unpleasant 4x4 track until you reach a small coffee shed called Cheesy. From there, the trail finally becomes nicer, slowly taking you to the point where you can climb Zlakolata. From there, turn left and follow a narrow, sometimes tricky path on a contour line until you reach Bora Peak. Bora is a superb place to camp with 360 views. The last day looked easy, but the descent from Maya Borit, I have no words. One of a hell descent, and I'm not even down yet. I need to de-stress now. It may be 400 meters, but it's very exposed and super steep. Very hard to descend, nothing to hold on, and one slip and I'm gone. From here is just a long way to plow, following a contour line through the forest until you hit 4x4 track that meets the road. Then via a dusty side path, about 1 hour you are finally back in plow. It is wild, pristine and untouched. Some section really surprised me. Most of the trails are shepherd's paths not made for tourists, and that made me it feels more authentic, adventurous. If you have any questions, please feel free to message me. Thank you for watching.